Endurance racing at its heart tests our limits. And what better setting do we have to test Marble's limits than the 24 minutes of LeMarble? Hey everybody, I'm Greg Woods. This gargantuan track slowed over time due to safety concerns. Iconic corners made in Marbula 1 style. This is the Marble version of the Circuit de la Sarthe. 21 turns and one daunting backstretch. Some very twisty sections, and as we saw in qualifying, one incredible race queued up for us today. Going through the starting grid, we start at the back with Crush and Ember in 20th and 19th. That 27.67, the slowest time of anybody. Fenrir and Thunder in the next row. Two yellow marbles, Bumble and Yellow Eye in 16th and 15th respectively. 14th and 13th, Glimmer and Mimo, and you see those times still in the 27 range. The back half of this field incredibly close. Snowy and Starry. Now into the top 10, it was Rojo Dos and Ghosto. Only now breaking into the 26s, Yeller and Jump in 8th and 7th, Smoggy and Minty Flav. Lining up in the second row, it's Clementon and Montoya for the Indigo Stars. And the front row, Clutter alongside Pole Sitter, Amaya from the Midnight Wisps. Amaya, brand new on the team. How will that marble handle the start? And we're rolling to begin the 24 minutes of LeMarble. Amaya has gotten mired in the pack and is well back in the field now. It's a disaster at the start, and it looks like the Minty Maniacs have gone up into the lead. Team Galactic appears to be right behind them. O'Rangers into third spot now. They lose out into fourth. Balls of Chaos, they've gone up into third. And it is Team Galactic out there in front as we come through the curves for the first time and over the line. An absolute disaster of a start for the Midnight Wisps. There we see it. Crush all the way up from the back row into fourth. Thunder into fifth as we look at that chicane where several marbles weave their way through. Was that the Wolf Pack that made a bunch of positions? We saw Minty Flav do that in qualifying, and nobody else could really match it. I thought, surely these are professionals. Somebody else is going to get that. So it surprised me every time that a marble was losing that amount of time on the straights. And I think that was Montoya who had a world of trouble getting onto the conveyor belt just there and lost all kinds of spots. Now, in a race of this length, you don't know how many laps you're going to get. There the Turtle Sliders struggling in the first of the two chicanes on the Mulsanne backstretch. Galactic struggling to get the power down, and Minty Maniacs go right around them. Thunderbolts are into third spot as they come over that line. And off we begin. Lap number 4. You can see the clock ticking down. It's Minty Maniacs leading Team Galactic. Thunderbolts, Balls of Chaos, Wolfpack, Jungle Jumpers, Turtle Sliders, Hazers, Snowballs, and Mellow Yellow. Our two leaders very slow out of that chicane. They come together and pick up the speed once again. Managing this track, who several marbles only got one attempt on this in Q1. Of course, there were quite a few marbles that didn't even make the weekend, that were out in Q1 and failed to qualify. But for the others, they haven't raced this track at all. They have only done their one qualifying lap. At least the top 10 got the benefit of a Q2 session where they were able to run speed over this circuit. And that chicane right there is the key. We saw Amaya do the same thing that we believe Minty Maniacs did in Q1, and that is go right through it without touching the walls. Any marble that can master that, although it's like threading a needle, that's going to make a huge bit of difference. Coming up the conveyor belt here, we're starting to see the field string out for the first time. Thunderbolts do lead over Team Galactic. Snowballs, Jungle Jumpers have now moved up into fourth spot. That was a great move. Jungle Jumpers, I think, pulled the same thing, yes, and they are right on the heels of Team Galactic. They go to the outside, and they get it done. Through Indianapolis and Arnage, out into the Porsche curves, they find themselves in second position. Farther back in the pack, you see it's still very close. The leaders are trying to get away. Jump. Now trying to keep tabs with the leader. Ball and back into third spot. Here comes Team Galactic with a good head of speed. And they catch the Thunderbolts unaware in the chicane, and Thunderbolts sit there for a second, completely still. That gives Team Galactic the lead once more. Farther back in the pack, we watch the Hazers battling with the Balls of Chaos farther back. Ghosto has now fallen to the back of the pack. Montoya is down there along with Ember and Bumble. Amaya, our pole sitter for the Midnight Wisp, recovered back into 14th, but was in dead last for a while at the end of the first lap. O'Rangers and Mellow Yellow very close together. There's Yellow Eye right in front of them for Crazy Cat's Eyes. O'Rangers get around them. And still up front, it is the Thunderbolts now. They have taken the lead. And we'll catch them just on that far side there, heading into the first chicane on the straightaway. This track's so large, you've got to be looking off into the distance. Yes. Thunder managing the gap up there. Now going to the inside, that's Mimo from Team Momo. Team Momo looking like they were trying to get into second place. Did they make the move? And we haven't seen that quite yet. We're watching Mellow Yellow and O'Rangers dueling as they come through the curves. Struggling off the conveyor belt. Momo, I think, has gone up into the lead. No, wait, look, just on the other side of that scoring pylon. They've traded positions twice now. Thunderbolts back up in front. Galactic also right in the mix, 5-6 lengths back. Trouble for Momo. Coming off of that turn, their representative, Mimo, has lost out on second place. Here we see Amaya, our pole sitter, around a bunch of marbles. Yellow Eye was also dropping back a ways, now into 14th position. Amaya has recovered into the top 10. Yeller, or Mellow Yellow, is in 4th in front of Crush from the Turtle Sliders. Down the backstretch. The attempt was made and could not get it to stick. Mellow Yellow trying to get on that podium. Big thing with endurance racing is, of course, when do you make your move versus when do you bide your time? And for most of these marbles, they have never raced an event this long. Who will have enough in the tank at the end? Beginning lap 12, and we are not even 12 minutes into this. We are 6 to be exact, right on the dot. Take a look farther back at Minty Maniacs. Oh, there were collisions in that chicane just as we cut away. I'm looking in the background there, and I see the O'Rangers are in a battle. Is that Bumble? Yes, it is. Right behind them. Good over-under move there, but could not make that work. Effortless defense right there for the O'Rangers, who are one step apart with the Bumblebees. Taking a look at our leader, already on the Mulsanne backstretch. Onto the curves. Now we take a look at second place. That is Starry for Team Galactic. Riding through into the Corvette curves over the start-finish line. 3 wide coming out of the turn there. And I think that was Wolfpack that got shuffled backwards. Bumble and Jump are also in the fight. The Jungle Jumpers will leave the conveyor belt first. Crush is inching ever closer to Team Galactic. Oh, and more collisions in that chicane. Of course, those are meant to slow you down and make things safer, but instead it's creating a lot of carnage back there as Crush has gotten second place, but over the line, is that going to hold? They were neck and neck. The scoring pylon still has Team Galactic leading it, and they do coming off the belt as well. Mimo is still up there. Those 3 marbles very close together. Watch them through the chicane. Contact from the Turtle Sliders is going to send Momo going forward. Galactic fights back. Thunderbolts cruising into the distance here. Still so much of this race left to go. Lots of furrowed brows and late nights in the preparation for this, by the way. So many teams trust their marbles. They know what their athletes are capable of, but this is such a big unknown. There were team meetings late into the night, strategy discussions, going over contingencies about where particular marbles might find themselves at different points in this race and how they should respond. A lot of studying also of that qualifying session. What did we learn from the quick shootout that we got in Q2 versus some of the individual laps where if you're in clean air and you can choose your own line, there's a lot of time to gain. Risk reward at the actual Circuit du Sartre and in the Marbula 1 version of it as well. There's Crush navigating that chicane beautifully, closing right up and getting by at the second chicane over Starry. The Turtle Sliders have gotten the position and are trying to leave Team Galactic in the dust. Wolfpack given a good defense against the Shining Swarm right there. Back up at the top of the field. Thunderbolts lead. Turtle Sliders, Galactic, Momo, Mellow Yellow, O'Rangers, Shining Swarm, Wolfpack, Snowballs, and Balls of Chaos rounding out our top 10. Our pole sitter, Amaya, down in 15th for the Midnight Wisps. Ember at the back of the pack, and in a race this long, you've got to start wondering, will the leader lap any of these marbles? Don't see a lot of that in Marbula 1 in these shorter circuits, but in this longer distance track, in a longer distance race, we could be seeing it. Very good lines going into those opening sets of corners through the Dunlop chicanes at the beginning of this lap. Who is going to make a difference on that? And is that a lead change that we've just seen? It is! Turtle Sliders have caught up to the Thunderbolts, and they've taken over the top spot. Over the line, 19 laps in. The Turtle Sliders have come from the back row of the grid, and they lead the 24 minutes. What can Crush do now in clean air? Snowball's in a good spot, navigating through that chicane. There we see the next batch. That is Clementon for the O'Rangers trying to move on up. Weaving through, this is the most flowing part of the track. Here at the beginning in this opening chicane, these opening turns, they come at you really hard, and you can see the size of those curbs as well. Lots of marbles going to be bruised from the entry and the exit of this chicane. Move for the lead. Great exit. Thunderbolts. They've got it back. Turtle Sliders put a foot wrong and ended up losing all kinds of momentum. They were unable to speed up coming out of that turn at the end of the straightaway, and as they headed into Indianapolis, the deed was already done. The Thunderbolts back out in front. Beating on down. Off of the conveyor belt. That was Nemo that made a really good move. Oh, somebody exited the chicane beautifully up there. Who was that as they disappear off into the distance? Oh, and an excellent move by the O'Rangers. Clementon shoots right through and is able to thread the needle. Anytime you see a marble do that, it is such a big risk-reward point. We mentioned those earlier. If you get it wrong, you are going to come to a stop almost. And I guess the O'Rangers had decided that at some point, if Clementon was sitting in or around where they are, might as well go for it. See if it helps. And it has. The Thunderbolts lead. Stretching and growing about 10 lengths now as they take a peek back at the Turtle Sliders. And piloted at the moment by Crush. Lots of trust that the teams put in these marbles to get them into this situation, by the way. If you are going to trust your racecraft, you're going to have to do it for a full 24 minutes. Excellent three-marble battle there. Heading off into that banked turn as they head on to the backstretch. I think that was Snowy that made a great move. Couldn't tell. We'd have to see a closer view or a replay on it, but there's so much happening all around this big circuit. Your eyes have to keep flowing constantly back and forth. This is the lead. We can tell you that. Thunder and Crush dueling it out for their teams. Thunderbolts slow off the line. Onto the curbs, and they're able to close the door. Crush can't get by yet, and now they get a bit of separation after that contact heading into the backstretch. Snowy lost out on third, has fallen back to fourth. It looks like Team Galactic back by with Starry. because you have the time in this race, you can actually take a little rest here or there. Wonderful chicane exit, by the way, for Yellow Eye. And build up your reserves once again. Mount your attack. You don't have to be completely flat out like you do in Marbula 1. You can choose your point of attack. And you also can bet that the marble in front of you is going to be tired at the end of this. Down the backstretch, there comes Starry. Team Galactic nailed that one. And now they want the lead. Out of Arnage they come, 2-3 lengths apart. Contact through the curves. Over the line, they're going to be 2 steps apart. Off they come, over the outside. And Team Galactic, they've got the lead. Thunderbolts, staying with them right now. At least trying to. They must have had a lot of trouble in that second chicane because they are not near as close as they used to be. There's Bumble in a good battle with Yellow Eye. Those two come together on the first of the 2 chicanes. Into the second one, you see at the top there. Same thing happens. Bumble is slowed for the Bumblebees and falls back to 17th position. Gosto and Rojo Dos, who started in the top 10. Back there for the final spot. Here is back up at the point. Team Galactic and the Thunderbolts. Big gap back then to Crush from the Turtle Sliders. Then it's Snowballs, Mellow Yellow, Momo, O-Rangers, Balls of Chaos, Hazers. As we go back to the top of the conveyor belt. Up the elevator they come. Keeping those same distances among our leaders. That means that if you are able to figure out your way, navigate through that chicane, that 1 in a million, then you could still be in striking distance of making the move and going up into the lead. Battle developing there. It's that Team Momo and Balls of Chaos. We are now nearing the 8-minute mark remaining. 1/3 of this race still to go. And the battles are heating up. Shining Swarm and O-Rangers going at it there. Here's the Snowballs trying to defend. This is a great battle up front. Thunderbolts right with them. Little trouble coming up to the conveyor belt. There goes Team Galactic disappearing off into the distance. Snowballs make the move. They've got second place, only to lose it on the exit. Heading onto the backstretch once again. Snowballs not too worried about Mellow Yellow behind him, and Mellow Yellow does it. They thread the needle twice nearly, and they gain 2 positions in 2 chicanes. Mellow Yellow up into second place. Yeller is on a charge. Lead at the front has grown slightly up until that lap. Great lines on the backstretch. The previous lap cut into that lead, but it is still Team Galactic. And if you're enjoying this one, if you are cheering on your favorites, stop on over to the online shop and rep them wherever you are watching. 24 minutes of LeMarble. It is Team Galactic from Mellow Yellow up front. Then it's Thunderbolts, Snowballs, Turtle Sliders, O-Rangers, Balls of Chaos, Momo, Hazers, and Minty Maniacs. Thunderbolts. They were watching to make sure they aren't going to lose more positions. They've been so far solely focused on getting second place back, but watch behind them. Everybody else is starting to creep up. We mentioned earlier in the race, when is the lapping going to begin? As the leader comes off the conveyor belt, you can see last place at the end of the Mulsanne. So they are in striking distance, I would say, but they may run out of time at this rate. Mellow Yellow still holds second after that dive bomb move. We saw several marbles do it in qualifying. You know the time is there. As we saw Minty Flave, it can save you around 2 seconds over a single lap compared to what most other marbles are going to run in the middle sector. Nice move there by the Hazers. That was Smoggy getting by, coming out of Arnage. Heading into the Porsche curves now. We follow Shining Swarm. Wolfpack also in the mix, in 12th right now. Battle for second place was getting very close, just off into the distance as best we could see. Big crowd on hand to watch this, by the way. They are voicing their support. Lots of marbles made it, and even those who were not successful to qualify for this event, so many of their fans stuck around because this 24 minutes race has been years in the making. To see it finally come to fruition just makes my marble heart happy. We're taking a look at Mellow Yellow right there, heading down the backstretch, closer now than what we've been in quite some time to the leader. Starry has caught the wall several times for Team Galactic and also took a meandering launch off of the conveyor belt to begin this lap. Those two gray marbles, Shining Swarm and Wolfpack, they are coming together more often than either of them would like. And get some separation. Battle for third place is beginning to heat up. The Snowballs closing in on the Thunderbolts. 1-2 lengths apart. Spreads out a little bit as they head down the backstretch through the first chicane. They hold station. O'Rangers split it again. They're going to gain spots. O'Rangers have now passed the Snowballs. They are trying to get up there into third spot, but they cannot sustain it. That burst of energy comes at a price. Still, they will have gained from where they were. Take a look at the updated order as they exit the conveyor belt. Several of those top marbles pinballing back and forth instead of taking the straight direct line off of it. O'Rangers, are they going to try to do it again? Not this time. In fact, they go backward. Snowballs handled that very well. O'Rangers get back by. Now they're past the Thunderbolts. 38 laps in, if you can believe it. We begin lap 39. Starry over Yeller. Endurance racing, all about the teams usually. But in this case, you're not switching drivers. You get one marble out there. So we're kind of playing that game of going back and forth between the individual and the team. Mellow Yellow. O'Rangers. Look back, there is Snowballs. Thunderbolts. Team Galactic still leading. Now 40 laps that we have started. 3 minutes to go in the 24 minutes of LeMarble. This is around the time, if we know anything from how these marbles race in Marbula 1, this is around the time when if you're going to make your move, you've got to do it. The silver marbles continue to be involved in battles, sometimes with each other, sometimes with others. And in that case, that was a good launch coming off of that chicane. Now we're taking a look at the O'Rangers. There's Thunderbolts getting backed by the Snowballs. Lots happening around this long course. Snowballs, better entry onto the conveyor belt. How will they leave it? In disarray. Sorry, no pun intended there for the Balls of Chaos, but they launched sideways and lost the advantage that the Snowballs had gained. Taking a look back up front. Remember, we're going to do 24 minutes plus whatever lap is left after that. So 24 plus a lap. Still so much can happen during that time. Some of the exits are looking a little rougher for Starry, but that was a very good one for Mellow Yellow. Yeller is trying to close in. Snowballs in a battle. Is that Momo side by side with him? And they get the Snowballs out of position and pick up the spot. Turtle Sliders. Here they are with Crush. Smoggy from the Hazers is also in there. Really the top 10, top 8 or 10 have all been very close as Smoggy takes a look. Couldn't get it done there. Nice through the first Dunlop chicane for Starry. That was a much better recovery. Clementon for the O'Rangers holding in third spot. And is now having to deal with Thunder from the Thunderbolts. Both of them handle that back chicane very well. So did Snowy. Snowy found a great way around it. But did that marble gain anything? We're going to have to see. Yes, Snowy is now right on the heels of the O'Rangers and gets by into Indianapolis. Off the belt. Our leaders. There we close, starting to lap marbles, but we're not quite there yet. Are we actually going to run out of time? Outside move, going down the backstretch. Oh, so close between those 5 marbles. Taking a look, there's the Thunderbolts. Go to the inside, they can't cover. Mellow Yellow gets by into second place. They've gone back and forth a few times. Team Momo also in there. O'Rangers right off the back of the pack. Snowy has also gone backwards. There's Crush trying to close the door and stop the Hazers from getting by. That was Smoggy. Meanwhile, up at the front, it's very close. We've got almost a marble that has been lapped. As we take a look at Yellow Eye. Crazy Cat's Eyes passed by the Minty Maniacs. All right, we've just started this lap. Lap 45 it will be. The clock has now expired, so this is the final lap. Starry trying to bring it home. A mammoth effort to race at the point for 24 minutes, and look at the gap that marble has been able to build. I don't believe that marble will try to lap Ember. The gap is too big. Back behind, nobody in sight. Team Galactic and Starry cross the line and win the inaugural 24 minutes of LeMarble. Mellow Yellow comes in second, and O'Rangers will stand on the podium in third. Waiting for the last few to cross the line. There is Ember. They've won individual events before, but they've never won the Marble League. They've never won Marbula 1's team championship. Team Galactic, your celebrations may now blast off because you have just won the biggest endurance race in the whole marble world. Way too many moments to show you absolutely every one of them here. Sometimes hard to keep track with just how many different passing points there were on this track. Some versions of Marbula 1 circuits and others, there's only a few really key passing points, but this circuit right here, the marble version of the Circuit de la Sarthe, top notch. Excellent design, and it raced beautifully. As we look at the overall standings by over 4.5 seconds, Starry from Team Galactic wins over Yeller from Mellow Yellow, and Clementon of the O'Rangers. The whole field spread by a little over 30 seconds. Coach Celeste extremely happy for Team Galactic. Hopefully you are as well with how your teams did. They've earned themselves some well-deserved rest. Yellow's Marble Runs is excited to announce our toy brand. You can now get our Skyway Chase Marble Run set and have team races with our Collector Series marbles or our individual sets of 10 marbles. Shop on our website now.